At this moment, may I invite Dr. Sumed Yamnun to proceed for the official opening of the Educa 2011 trade exhibition in front of the exhibition hall. And we shall also proceed with the next session straight away. In the next session, we shall be taking a look at top countries of PISA result 2009 and Thailand under the second theme of curriculum and instruction reform. So before we invite the speakers onto the stage, all four of them, may I just take this opportunity while they're just arranging the stage to introduce them, their curriculum. First of all, we shall hear from Professor Dr. Jyrki Loima. He's Administrative Principal of the Wiki Teacher Training School, University of Helsinki, Adjunct Professor of University of Helsinki. He holds the position at the Administrative Principal of the Wiki Teacher Training School, University of Helsinki from 2002 until present time. And Dr. Jyrki Loima is also an adjunct professor at the University of Helsinki, and the university is in Finland. He provides consultancies in educational issues in China, USA, and America. He is an experienced teacher education management and leadership both in Finland and international contexts. He is also listed in Marquis Who is Who in the World 2011, and his recent awards are 2000 Outstanding Intellectuals of the 21st Century. This is from the Oxford University Press, and the 1,000 Great Persons of the 21st Century to be printed by the American Biographical Center. And he will be talking to us on the issue of the top countries of PISA result 2009 in Thailand. And after that, we shall hear from two persons who come from the same institution. That is Madame Julie Ho. She is principal of the Raffles Girls' School in Singapore. Madame Ho took her first degree on a teaching scholarship from the Ministry of Education in Singapore and majored in classics and English at Reading University in the United Kingdom in 1988. She completed her diploma in education at the Institute of Education Singapore in 1989, and in the year 2000 she graduated with a master's in education in human development and psychology from Harvard University, and again on the scholarship from the ministry. Madame Ho has served in education in a variety of different positions, both in school and Ministry of Education settings. She was closely involved in education and curriculum for the gifted and talented, and served a stint in Raffles Girls' School as head of department of the Gifted Education Program. In the year 2007, Madame Ho was appointed principal of Raffles Girls' School, the premier independent girls' school in Singapore, which admits high-ability girls from amongst the top 3% of Singapore's primary schools. And the other lady who will be joining her for that particular part of the program is Mrs. Mary Sherian. She is the director of the Pedagogical Research Lab of the Raffles Girls' School Secondary of Singapore. She graduated from the National University of Singapore with Bachelor of Arts with honors on a teaching scholarship from the Public Service Commission Singapore. She majored in history and English literature with a minor in English language. She then achieved a diploma in education from the National Institute of Education, focusing on the teaching of history and English. And in the year 2010, she graduated from the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy with a master's in public administration, this time on a scholarship from the Raffles Girls Secondary School. Mrs. Cherian has extensive experience in gifted education principles and practices. And the last person who will be in this session is Associate Professor Dr. Kunying Sumontha Prombun. She is member of the Higher Education Commission, the Ministry of Education, member of the board of the Institute for the Promotion of Teaching Science and Technology. Previously, she was president of Sri Nakarin Virod University from the year 1997 to 2003, and she received many awards, for example, honorary doctoral degrees in educational administration from Sri Nakarin Virod University and biotechnology from King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Lakrabang. So, to start off with, we shall hear from Professor Dr. Jyrki Loima, Administrative Principal, the Wiki Teacher Training School, University of Helsinki, Finland, who will present his view on curriculum development, learning and the 21st century skills. Professor Dr. Jyrki Loima.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizing committee and all the stakeholders that have made it possible to be here. And I also had an opportunity to facilitate and run an in-service training program with 77 Thai teachers prior to this, and I found my colleagues in this country to be fast-track learners and very hard-working teachers. And there was something I learned about them, the happiness of learning. Yes, something about learning and curriculum development and 21st century skills, like this. We are familiar with this piece of research, and this is just a brief introduction to what I'm going to talk about. And for us, and according to our understanding, PISA is not a competition at all, but PISA rather is cooperation. It's an invitation to cooperate on the field of education. International research requires international cooperation. How about the education and learning beyond the PISA, in front of PISA, behind the PISA? How about the results and research? First of all, we should make a decision whether or not we want to have a common educational system for all. Second, should it be wide as a compulsory education, or should it be short? Should it be closed and include only talented students and thus get the best performance out of the nation and in a way close it from the others? Should there be narrow pathways, or could it be a highway with no dead ends? When it comes to education, we have such questions to ask. As well as this, what goals or objectives our national or other education has in terms of learning, and on the other hand in terms of teaching. And one more point of view to add to this is that, are we at school for learning, or are we there for teaching? Sir Michael already said something about copy and paste methodologies. You can't transfer from another country to another country any model as such. But we could build, by cooperation, bridges and highways of education. And as it comes to the attitudes we are dealing with, is it rather that we have more supervisors, more school inspectors, more tests, more control, more formal control in our learning institutions? Or could it be that way, that we are encouraging people to think in a different way, in an innovative way, and learn to trust each other? I can't help to say something about those clusters that were mentioned in the previous presentations. In our country, we are talking about networks where there are private companies, learning institutions from various levels, different kind of schools, multicultural people, learning with and from each other. Trusting and learning to trust. Encouraging each other to have a more sustainable way to develop oneself in a group, in a team. For third factor is how can we foster social or individual motivation and learn to respect each other, and what are the needs of education? Sir Michael said something about a good leader at school, and I would name it in one word. A good school leader is a facilitator. He or she makes things to happen possible. Then it comes to the society itself. Are we living in a static society where people know beforehand in their early childhood how their life is going to be in the near future and finally as an adult? Or do we live in a dynamic process where you have opportunities and possibilities to educate yourself, have career alternatives, have international contacts? And I would say that the static phase of societies has been passing away during the last 50 years. What kind of assessment do we need when we do evaluation? And one more thing about this PISA. It means for us that we are not competing with other nations, but the results gave us an understanding of the trusted education system we have created during the latest 25 years, and teachers are trusted and respected experts in the field of education, and we do a lot